I love bedtime routine because we always end on a good note, no matter what. Even if I'm not feeling it, even if I'm still like tense, we read our book, we say our prayers, and when I'm kissing him goodnight, I do him snug as a bug in a rug, and then I look at him and I tell him I'm proud of him.
Welcome to Mommispace. My name is Brianna Bernhard, your hostess, and I am a new mom. I selfishly created this podcast to get some advice and inspiration from the moms in my community who are doing amazing things while raising their families. I've realized motherhood is hard, but knowing I'm not alone in this call makes all the difference, and I hope you feel refreshed as you listen. Welcome to the tribe. Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Bree, and today I'm here with Tessa Forbes. That's how you say your last name, right? I totally heard.
That is how you say my last name.
Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Yay, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. You are a mom of two, a wife, and you are such an inspiring person to me. I love, you're a good writer, I've noticed, at least on Facebook, and I've done some different business ventures, that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I was just really excited to talk about you and hear your journey into motherhood. So before we dive in, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, where you're located, and what daily life looks like for you guys?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, I am a mama of two. I have a little boy who is a little over 3, and my daughter is almost 9 months old, and
Wow.
she's just flying by, getting way too big, way too fast. My husband is the most wonderful man that I've ever met in my life, and I'm not just saying that. He is my soul's mate, and who else to be able to truly say that and think that. And daily life, we bought our second home in Lake Elsinore, and we've been here almost 2 months. And this is not our forever home, but it's a long time home for us. We're going to be here for a long time.
Yeah.
And I just am so happy to be here. There's room for more babies, and I just love our home. I feel very blessed to be able to be here.
That's awesome.
And I am home. I'm a stay-at-home mama. I was working full-time when I had my son, and I quit when he was about 1.5 years. I never got good at being a working mom in an office. It was a very hard first 1.5 years for me as a first-time mama. And I started up a business venture to be able to quit my job. So as soon as I made the amount that I could make in order to quit, I did.
That's awesome.
I didn't wait for 3 months to make sure that it was going to be constant revenue.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I hit the number, peace out.
Oh, that's great.
And I still do it. I still work from home. But more than anything, today I am a mama.
That's awesome.
And I love being a homemaker. So that is me.
Very cool. That's great. I love it. Now, did you always want to be a mom? Had that always kind of been in your heart? And could you kind of share your journey into motherhood and what that was like for you?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I always wanted to be a mom. Absolutely. My mom is my hero. And my biggest role model, and I always wanted to be like her. So even when I was little, there's photos of me 1.5 years holding my baby dolls with bottles. And if you ever called my dolls, I would get so mad because and for my birthday, all I would ask for would be gift cards to Babies R Us because my babies didn't wear doll clothes. They wore real baby clothes.
Wow.
My babies had car seats that I would get at garage sales, and all of that. I was ridiculous. But at the same time, I was like a huge tomboy. So that whole side of me was super hidden and nobody knew about it until the door closed and I went home and then I was a super girly girl with my babies. But my introduction to motherhood or how I became a mom was the farthest thing from what I ever expected it to be. Um, I was with my now husband, my boyfriend at the time. We were together a year and a half, and I got pregnant. Um,
Wow.
and it, I was almost disowned from my family. Came from a
Wow.
very conservative family, and I tore my family apart for my whole pregnancy.
Oh,
And then, honestly, a couple of years after, too, it was still kind of mending things.
wow.
But it was an awful journey on that part.
Oh, man.
Hardest time when I found out I was pregnant, I entered hands down the hardest time of my life, and I just pray to God that I never have to go through anything like that again.
Wow.
So always wanted to be a mama, but the way that it happened, like my dad said, I broke the Holy Grail.
Oh my gosh.
It's happened that way, but
Wow.
God has covered me and my husband
Wow.
grace. And again, I just feel very fortunate for everything that I have today because we have just beat the odds. We
Mm.
married, we had a shotgun wedding. I got married when I was 5 months pregnant. Um, and my mom cried on my wedding day and not like the happy tears crying,
Oh,
like the
man.
sobbing,
Wow.
um, like a mourning type cry.
Wow.
Um, it was, yeah, a really, really hard time, but we just had laser focus, my husband and I. We knew what we needed to do. Really, nobody believed in us.
Wow.
I was told um, by someone very close to my family to me, probably the closest person that I had in my family to me, that I didn't have the brain capacity to be a mom at
Oh
23.
my gosh.
So it was hard. It was really hard. I didn't have confidence, but I think that I I don't know, something just happens to you when you become a mom and nothing matters, but you just do whatever you have to do for your child, and that's what it
Mm.
was. I just got in a bubble
Mm.
and nothing mattered. But I
Yeah.
kind of always felt like I had something to prove. So
Wow.
I didn't accept help. Um, I refused any of that, and my husband and I did it on our own.
Wow.
Um, which, looking back, of course, I wish I would have accepted a little bit more help and all that. But I kind of kept a chip on my shoulder, and I was like, "You think I can't do it? Watch me."
Mm.
Um, so it was a roller coaster, but um, it's our story,
Right.
and I love it. I love our story. I don't share it
Yeah.
to make it sound good or to make myself sound
Right,
good.
right.
I share it because things don't have to happen the way that you always pictured them to
Mm.
happen, and they
Mm.
usually don't.
Yeah.
And God still can make it so beautiful.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, that's how I got started.
That's really good. Thank you for going there. That's like, I mean, a vulnerable place, and I so appreciate you sharing that part of your story. It's so I don't know. I think it's really helpful, and because I'm sure there are other moms out there that didn't get started the way they'd hoped or thought they would either. So I just love having that camaraderie like out in the open and everything. That's so good.
Yeah,
Um yeah. So now fast forward, you had your baby girl, right? Like how was that the second time around for you?
baby girl gave me my confidence. Uh,
Mm.
Making the choice to get pregnant
Mhm.
and getting pregnant and having it be on our terms
Mhm.
uh, changed everything for me. My husband didn't struggle with all of it as much as I did with my family and everything because his family was very accepting and loving and supportive. So he didn't feel all of that as hardly as I did.
Right.
And So yeah, she changed the game for me
Wow.
100%. I mean, having my son made me a mom, and then having my daughter gave me the confidence to be a mama. And like
Wow.
I said to my husband, it's funny, and I'm so far from it, but I feel like super mom with
Wow.
because I don't question myself anymore, and I just don't feel like I have anything to prove anymore, and
Wow.
I'm finally becoming my own. And it's a breath of fresh air. And
Wow.
again, it's not what I expected, but it's a huge breath of fresh air, and she
Wow.
is wonderful.
That is such a cool way to put it. I can relate to some extent to feeling like, oh wow, like I'm actually doing this, and there's something that I think like
Yeah.
is innate in mothers. Sometimes it's harder to access than others, but
Yeah.
this feeling of like I can do anything. And I love that you just mentioned like not feeling like you have anything to prove.
Hmm.
There is such a confidence that comes with being a mom, and I feel like that's really important to say and to note and to almost like revel in, because there's such, at least from what I've experienced, there's such this like stigma towards motherhood, like
Hmm.
this feeling like, oh, I don't want to waste my time, I don't want to like lose myself, or
Oh my God.
you know what I mean? So like I think that's so cool, like just as a I don't know, like shouting it out to those who are scared of motherhood or whatever, like no, this is such a like beautiful gift, you know?
It is. It is. And for some, like I said, like my confidence didn't come. I mean, I had confidence, I did, in
Yeah.
being a mom and like my choices that I made for my son. And I mean, he was the first diaper I ever changed. Like I had never had experience with real children at all.
Yeah.
But I did not have my confidence though at all, like at first. And I came off as like the most confident person ever, but that was really just my insecurities. I overcompensated for everything.
Hmm.
And again, not on my momming abilities, because praise God, it is. It's something that the Lord just gives us. It's how we are built. And it is
Hmm.
different from daddies. I think it's meant to be
Yeah.
different from daddies. And it's a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
It does, it comes, that baby comes out, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, mom, I'm mom. Like when
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell else I am, but I know I'm mom.
Yeah. That's so true. So true. I love too that you mentioned that our roles are different. Because that's so true. Like as far as the dad being dad, and yeah, that can get kind of twisted these days too. So I appreciate that.
I think someone told, I don't know, remember who it was, but they once said to me, you have to let dad be dad. And
Mm.
I love that. And it still rings true in my brain because I do have a son, and
Mm-hmm.
I am the one that runs to him after he falls. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give him his kisses and his band aids and all of that. And sometimes I'm like, Dad, where's your nurturing side?
Yeah.
But you gotta let dads be dads. And it's something that I can't do. I can't do what he
Mm-hmm.
does, and he can't do what I do.
That's
So
really good.
praise God that our kids do have both,
Yeah.
um, because it is different.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I
you gotta
appreciate
let
that.
dads be kids
That's
because
so good.
it's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. Um, have you, this is kind of a side note, but have you noticed like a difference in your husband, like with having a girl now? Like, has there been any like, oh, that's new, like as far as the way he approaches her and everything? I mean, I'm sure it's like gonna be different like as she gets older, maybe, but like,
For
I don't know.
sure. It was actually funny because he didn't, and I didn't expect this, but he didn't bond with her like he did my son at the beginning. Um,
Okay.
Very hands-on with my son, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd get up at first. It didn't last
Mm-hmm.
long, but at first, I'd get up in the middle of the night to nurse him, and he would just lay in the nursery with me, and like, and,
Oh,
like he couldn't have been more hands-on.
wow.
And then, and he's always been like that with my son, and with my daughter. It just wasn't like that. It was
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
He was work. I mean, so much had changed in our lives. We had a home, a mortgage. He was the
Yeah.
primary provider. And I was home now, so I wasn't working. I necessarily didn't need the all of the help. Um, but it was different at first. But then we went on vacation with my family, and he got away from work. We
Mm.
had service. It was by the beach, and that was like when it all clicked. And ever
Wow.
since then, I think she was like 2 months old, and then no, she was probably 3.5. But then ever since then, it's only growing and growing, and I hear
Wow.
him. Oh, when I'm upstairs, I hear him just singing to her down.
Oh my word.
Um, he he calls her his little Konju. He's half Korean, so Konju is princess.
Oh, that's so cool.
Um, and yeah, he's smitten, and
Oh my
he's
gosh.
gonna have a really hard time. Her,
That is so sweet.
you'll have a really hard time.
Yeah.
Yeah, with letting her go a little bit and
Yeah.
all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. But
Oh, that's so sweet. Wow. Okay, so I'd love to kind of touch on a little bit, like what are some of your passions in life? Like what do you love doing? What makes you come alive? And does being a mom kind of fuel those things for you?
yeah, absolutely. So, um, my passions in life have always been, and this couldn't sound super cliche, but helping others come to
Hmm.
their own, and primarily women,
Mm,
girls and women finding their confidence and their voice in themselves,
mm,
and whoever they are, whatever they want to do, just like I said, finding that's within them, that's given
mm,
to them, and kind of becoming more comfortable with themselves, just
mm-hmm.
all that is encompassing with confidence. So my heart beats for women, um,
Wow.
and it always has. And so when all this motherhood stuff happened, I had always, it was kind of funny because I had just graduated college. So at my
Mm-hmm.
place in life, I was working at Nordstrom in the lingerie department, which I loved because I'm so hands on with women and women being vulnerable because I
Wow.
was um, certified in like measuring boobs
Wow. That's awesome.
all day long. And women, that's
Wow.
super vulnerable,
Right, right.
and so that I loved that job. But I was interviewing for more of a full time my career job,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I was in the final stages of the interviews where I would have been compensated well. It would have been just an awesome first job, and then that was when I found out that I was pregnant.
Wow.
And I remember actually the third interview was a cocktail hour because it was going to be a sales position. And I was going to needing to be taking corporate level people out to happy hours and wining and dining them and earning
Wow.
their business. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I'm now pregnant. I'm going to
Wow.
be huge. And then I'm going to be a mom and I didn't know I was going to be a wife,
Yeah.
but I'm going to be a mom. I don't want to have to be wining and dining, you
Mm.
know? So I took a job that took me, knowing that I was pregnant. It was family, well, not family friends. It was actually my friend's family. And point being, it steered me away from my passions, like
Wow.
100%. Everything that I was really excited about that stage of life, making my own money. I was already living out of the house and everything, but I was really excited to not be broke, a broke college kid
Right.
anymore. And then I was a mommy, and I felt like I had to die to myself. I felt
Wow.
like I had to let everything go. And now I was just a mom, and I just had to work to bring in money. And it didn't matter
Mm.
if I enjoyed it or not
Mm.
because I didn't. I hated that job. And
Wow.
and then when I found the business venture that I went on, it was a health and wellness venture.
Mm-hmm.
It is a health and wellness venture. And I started finding those passions again. And I love how you say what brings you to life, because it
Mm.
brought me back to life.
Mm.
I loved being a mom. All of that was wonderful. But as I mentioned before, when at least when I became a mom, it was like I became a mom and I didn't know what else I was, but I knew I was a mom. And this kind of helped me re-find myself and figure out what else I was. I
Mm.
remember sitting at the dinner table before I started this and looking at my husband and being like, I don't know who I am. And he said, you're still Tessa, babe. Like you're still you.
Mm.
And I said, no, I'm not. Like I'm so different. I may look the same. I'm a little bit oddly shaped now, but I may look the same, but I'm not. I'm not the same person. And that was the start of me kind of refinding myself and feeling like myself again, but a so much better version because I
Mm.
was a mom.
Wow.
And and then I just clung to that like no other. And I like I said, I worked it for 10 months before I was able to make the income to supplement what I was making working full time.
Wow.
And that was my passion. It was my business. I loved being a mama. That's what set my soul on fire. And
Mm.
this helping other people, helping women, really, that was who was really joining me
Yeah.
and helping them come to their own and doing their own things. And I loved it, and I do still.
Wow.
And
Wow.
in that, and how it ties into being a mom, I guess. Well, like I said, we were when you first emailed me to talk and I saw the
Mm.
questions, um, I was thrown off because I was like, passions, shoot.
Wow.
Like, shoot, what are my
Yeah.
passions now? Because I've
Wow.
stepped back from my business a little bit because I've just enjoyed being home with my two.
Yeah.
And I guess now my passions are still, of course, helping others and women. And if I get to just talking one on one with a woman, like, then
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Women have a great day because I got to do this.
Yes. Wow.
But really, what sets my soul on fire is my family.
Mm.
And when I quit my job, I was still so focused on my business that I
Mm.
wasn't really, and my passions and fueling
Mm.
that and feeling like I had to still be Tessa and kind
Mm.
of keep that separate a little bit. I still felt
Mm.
like I had to be a career woman,
Mm.
and I felt like I had to do it all because I think society today
Yeah.
does shine light negatively on
Yeah.
just stay-at-home moms, just
Yeah. Yeah.
just a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
And so I did. I felt like I had to do something else. And
Mm.
now I'm just enjoying actually making dinner every night and not from the
Wow.
frozen aisle at Trader Joe's,
Yeah.
but actually making dinner and doing laundry
Mm.
in 2 days now instead of four.
That's amazing.
And just being home for my family.
That's so great. I think it's so cool that you talk about um like the fact that you have things in you that like bring you joy and bring you life. And also your family is included in that and not in any way like there's not like sometimes I feel like there can be this feeling like those things have to be separated. And in some seasons, I think that's true.
Yeah.
And but I just love the fact that like you went there and that you like thought through that, and the core of it being you love helping people and love specifically connecting with women. And I think I love that you made that distinction because I think sometimes like we get stuck in well, what do I like to do? Like, what are my hobbies? What, which that there may be that part of it, like that does bring you joy in life, but there is typically something underlying like that core of this is really what brings me joy is, being with people or writing or, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that distinction. Um, yeah, I think that's so great. Okay, so how do you stay inspired like day to day? and managing your time. You said you kind of step back from your business a little bit, and you can share about that if you want, like go into detail about that. I'm totally down with that. And but also like taking care of your heart in that process with like being a mom and doing business stuff on the side too. Like, what does that all look like for you?
Well, yeah, like I said, I did. I stepped back from my business. I still enjoy it. It's still there, and praise God, I'm still
That's
bringing in what
awesome.
I need to. But I'm not seeking
Mm.
more
Mm-hmm.
of it right now. I'm not at a state or a season in that part of my life where I am
Mm-hmm.
seeking promotions and being career
Mm-hmm.
oriented in that. I'm not. Um, and if you would have asked me that 4 months ago, I would have felt
Wow.
huge guilt for that. But I don't now because I love this stage of life and I've accepted that there's stages,
Mm.
there's seasons, and it doesn't always have to be
Mm.
all or nothing. Um, and right now, I am just maintaining my business and I am
Wow.
thriving at home. And now, thriving at home doesn't mean that I have a schedule and that I just kill it
Yeah.
every day. And every day, I stick to the schedule
Mm.
by no
Yeah.
means. Oh my gosh, no. Um, with two and being home, I've definitely learned that I thrive best and my home thrives when I'm able to roll
Mm.
with the punches and I'm able to let things
Mm.
fall off schedule and be like, you know what, I was supposed to go to the grocery store today, but the kids seem like they're having a hard day. So quesadillas it is.
Yeah.
I like, and it's nice now that I do have the time freedom, the real time freedom to be able to roll with the punches. Because when I did quit my full time job, I was home,
Mm.
but I was working so much. And I was so focused on,
Mm-hmm.
again, kind of just fueling my passions. And I got caught up in the future of our family and worried
Mm.
about how we were going to pay for braces one day and how we were going to pay for college and how we were going to pay for
Mm.
prom and sports
Wow.
and all that stuff. And my son was two. So in a sense, I guess it kind of is opposite of managing my time well and all of that. Rather, just kind of going with it now,
Yeah.
and I'm living more in the now, and instead of focusing more on like the woman that I want to be for my children, I'm just
Mm.
focusing on the mom that I want to be
Yeah.
for them right now because they're so young and they don't care if mama is bringing in six figures a
Right.
year. They care that mama is there
Yeah.
when my son asks me if I will lay with him, that I
Yeah.
can do that. And that's a huge blessing because I know that not everybody has that,
Wow.
and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a huge
Yeah.
blessing, and I'm not going to let it slip by me.
That's so good. I
Um,
yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Like that is I think in a sense that is a way of managing your time, right? Like
yeah,
you're
that's
making it what you think is best. Like so
yes,
I love that.
and it is. That's just me. That I can only speak on what my priorities are, and that's
Yeah.
not to say that anybody else's are wrong.
No, no,
Um,
no. Right.
in
Totally.
different ways, but it's just my journey.
Yes.
And right now, yeah, my family is. And if you would have asked me, my family has always been my priority. Of course, that's the only
Yeah.
reason why I did start a business venture and work from home was to be home with my
Mhm.
son. But yeah, now I'm just enjoying actually like really just trying to be home and get good at what being home means
That's so good. I love
to
that.
me.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned feeling guilty just a minute ago. And I like to talk about that just to kind of expose this like what we call mom guilt.
Um,
Because I think it's so like it's laughable on one end, but it's so
it's
serious
so
on the
real.
other, right? So yeah, so I like want to make sure that we're like exposing it for what it is and talking through it. So for you, like what does that look like? Have you experienced it, and what are some of the things you do to like overcome it if you do encounter it?
I absolutely encounter it, and it is real. It is real. It can keep you up at night, and I still second guess things constantly. Am I being too hard? Am I being too soft? Am I being too much of this, too little of that? Whatever. I think at least for me, it's because it's the most important thing, single-handedly the most important thing in my life, as
Mm.
my family.
Yeah.
And if I'm messing it up, and I put so much pressure sometimes on the smallest decisions. If I let
Mm.
him have a second cookie,
Yeah.
should I even let him have a cookie because it has sugar
Yeah.
in it? And then he's
Yeah.
going to get addicted to sugar.
Right,
Like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, chaos in my brain. Like,
Yeah.
moms are crazy, and I
Yeah.
mean, women are crazy, but then you become a
Yeah.
mom, and it's like what a different level.
I know.
So
Mm.
yes, absolutely, mom guilt. Mom guilt became tenfold when I had a second baby because um, it all changed. My son and I had and have an incredible bond. Really, I think the journey that we went on together, and how it all started and everything. It was like, I mean, I never left the kid. I would only leave him
Wow.
for work, and then if it was anything at all, no, I never left the kid. Um, so it just changed. It changed when I had a
Mm.
second with my daughter. Um, I couldn't hold him all the time, and then I felt bad when he wanted to be held, and I was holding the baby. And then if I put the baby down, I was felt so bad that I wasn't holding the baby because I always held my first son, so I always need to hold the
Mm.
baby, but I can't because I have a toddler that
Mm.
needs mom too. So mom guilt got really, really intense after having my second. It was a whole different game. And I really second guessed everything in my brain about she wasn't getting as much as what he got. And now he's
Mm.
not getting as much as what he used to.
Mm.
But I'm like if I ever have an issue or I'm struggling with something, I am a reader. I'm a
Mm.
reader, I'm a researcher, and there aren't really books on how to mommy, but there's blogs, there's
Mhm.
podcasts.
Yes.
And I read and I listen. And I read something at night. It was like 3 in the morning because I had just got done nursing my daughter. And it was a
Wow.
blog, and I was reading it. And it said that and I searched how to deal with mom guilt on Pinterest
Wow.
because
No
I
way.
swear, there's tons on it,
Wow.
by the way. So for all of you,
Yeah, yeah, that's
when you're
great.
in the thick of it, search mom guilt on Pinterest, and you will feel better. Um,
Wow.
but it said that you have to remember that your babies aren't yours; they're the
Mm.
Lord's,
Mm.
and the Lord will have His way with them. You are
Mhm.
simply a steward in communicating that will.
Mm.
And you have to
That's good.
remember that whether you do give them the second cookie or not, the Lord
Yeah.
will still have his way with them.
Yeah.
You just train them up in the way that you can to follow him,
Yeah.
and you do your best. But at the same time, part of that is being human and
Mm.
making mistakes and then being vulnerable and showing them those things. So that kind of started the journey of me deciding no more mom guilt as bad as I was having it
Yeah.
at the first when I like the first months of having my two. Um, and I started praying specifically on it, and I started to see the beauty in the different um, order of my children. So
Mm.
yes, my son was my first, and we had so much one-on-one time, and that's wonderful. But having a second now is teaching him lessons that I would have never been able to. He would have
Yeah.
always been my
Wow.
world, and the world does not revolve around him. And
Yeah.
I couldn't have taught him that. So now his
Yeah.
sister can teach him that.
Wow.
And same with her. Now she didn't get to be one on one with me constantly. And
Yeah.
she didn't get to be held as much and all of that. But she has so much more than what my son had. She has so many
Yeah.
stable parents.
Wow.
She
That's
has,
such a good perspective.
like I just started, the Lord really showed
Wow.
me the beauty in the order.
Yeah.
And,
Oh my
you
gosh. That's
know,
so good.
so, yes, mom guilt is real, but fight it. I
Yeah.
don't let myself bask in it. And I
Yeah.
now try to catch myself like I'm being ridiculous. He's fine. And
Yeah.
if I feel bad about something, if I snapped, because I do snap sometimes, if I
Yeah.
snap, I'll go over to him and I'll say, I'm sorry I yelled. And
Yeah.
I expect him to apologize.
Right. Right.
Sometimes it's not easy. Even that's funny. It's not easy to apologize to a 3-year-old always.
Yeah.
But just I don't know. You're not perfect,
Right.
and nobody expects you to be. Your kid doesn't
Yeah.
either. So,
Yeah.
and then okay, this is the last part on that. Sorry.
Yes. No, no, no. This is great. So good.
But
Keep
at the
going.
end of the day, I believe in this very strongly. No matter, because some days are just hard. Some days are hard.
Yeah.
Some days, I mean, he's like a three-nager, and we all day long. I swear. And it's like, man, today was a fail. No matter what, bedtime is a positive experience. Our bedtime routine, I love
Oh,
bedtime routine because we always end on a good note, no matter
that's
what.
so
Even if I'm
good.
not feeling it, even if I'm still like tense, we read our book, we say our prayers,
Mm-hmm.
and when I'm kissing him goodnight, I do him snug as a bug in a rug. And then I look at him
Oh,
and I tell him I'm proud of him. And I go over a few
wow.
things of why I'm proud of him. And he even looks at me now and he
Wow.
goes, Why, mom? And I'm like, Well, because you were
Wow.
such a good big brother today. Or even the smallest things. Like I
Wow.
try and highlight just little positives that happen.
Wow.
There's always good things that happen. Um,
Wow.
and that has helped me a lot too, because I know that, and I didn't come up with that. I found that on Pinterest.
Yes, that's so good though.
I
Like it's one thing to find it and then another to implement it. So, yeah, good on you.
It will, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we're going strong a few months on it, but it does
Yeah.
help, and I know that we ended on a good note, so that helps the mom guilt for
Mm,
sure.
wow. That is so cool. I just get teary even like thinking about getting to do that someday. Like probably cuz words are powerful to me, like that means so much to me, you know?
Yes.
But yeah, to that young mind,
Oh
like
my
that's
God.
so powerful. And what a great way to end like the day.
Yeah.
Cuz that would be so easy to be just like, "Oh, okay, you go take care of the kids. Like I just can't anymore," which I often feel that way.
Oh,
And she's not even like talking yet, you know?
yeah.
But like I love that, like just being able to approach it from that space of like,
Yes. And
yeah, I don't
again,
know,
I don't
positivity.
always feel it, and sometimes I do just have my husband do. The other night, I went and took a bath, which never happens, but I didn't
Yeah.
do bedtime because sometimes you need
Yeah, that's good.
help.
That's a good point.
But no, yeah, I love our bedtime
Aw.
routine, and it does majorly help. And I do believe your children will become what you tell them they are.
Yeah.
Not
Amen
a
to
rocket
that.
scientist on that half, but if you tell them they're wonderful, they're gonna believe they're wonderful. You know.
Yes. Oh, so good.
So I feel the same way. Words are powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for sharing those things. That I don't know, I'm like blown away right now just your perspective on um kid number 2 and kid number 1 and like how that all you're right, there's such a specific order like the way God made it. And I think like I have felt like fearful about like what's going to happen to the next kid, like not getting enough. Well, they don't know any different, right? So that's like I don't know. That was just really refreshing. Thank you for going there.
Yeah,
Um
sure.
that's so good. Okay, so my last like deep question would be, what's a legacy? What is the legacy you want to leave for your children one day?
This question threw me off too because I was so caught up in my legacy becoming a mom and then quitting my job, and I was so caught up in um, just what I wanted to leave them with, and
Yeah.
at the end of it, who they'd say their mom was,
Mm.
and all of,
Yeah.
and again, forward thinking.
Mm.
And I've kind of just like stripped myself of that and allowed myself to strip myself of that and just be in the
Mm.
now for right now.
Wow. Mm.
And I'm not thinking about when I am 60 what my kids are going to say about me. I mean, I pray
Mm.
that they say that they always had fun with me and that
Mm.
family was fun and
Mm.
home is safe and mom's cooking is the best and nothing
Mm-hmm.
like mama. I One day I want to show my daughter you can do it all. You can do it all, and that doesn't mean that it's not hard, but you don't have to do it all, and that's okay too. And so one day, I mean, I will pick up, strap up my boots again, and I will get into that career mindset. I think, because
Mm-hmm.
I do really enjoy it. But right now, I want to be that mom that they remember that was there and
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
did make them feel awesome. Like
Mm.
nobody makes them feel better than mom. And that's
Mm.
really what I'm focusing on right now is building, I guess, just building their childhood.
Yeah.
The little things that I was breezing past because I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the future too much,
Mm.
rather than let's make hot cocoa and
Yeah.
you can put your own marshmallows in and we're going to make a mess in here, but that's okay because that can be cleaned. Before, it would
Yeah.
have killed me. Like,
That's so
oh,
good.
mess, no.
Yeah.
But so again, I think I'm kind of going against what should be said here, but I'm not thinking about my legacy too much. I'm really just thinking about
Hmm.
being here and making sure that they have an awesome childhood.
That's so good. I think that like the whole idea of like being present and making sure that you're like staying in the moment is like creating more legacy than we realize. So yeah, I think that's such a great perspective as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Um,
Yeah.
and if anything, mamas know that it is a journey and that there are stages and that that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. If you're doing great at one thing right now, that doesn't mean that you always have to. That
Yeah.
in a few
Yeah.
months that it can change, and that doesn't mean that you failed at it or that
Yeah.
you have to make a life decision. It just means that
Mm-hmm.
there's a time for
Mm-hmm.
everything and there's nothing
Yep.
new under the sun. And
Yeah.
it can come back around at one point, but
Yes.
where you're at right
Amen.
now, you'll be blown away by how much changes in just a few years.
So good, Tessa. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like to end with some fun questions just to wrap it up. The first being, is there a favorite product for yourself or for your kiddos that you feel like you couldn't live without at this moment?
Okay, so my favorite product is wine.
Yes.
And where it just happened when I did quit my job and I stayed at home, and it's like, and then especially after having my daughter, it's
Yeah.
officially built into the budget. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not a drunk, guys. It just
No,
helps
no,
me
no.
wind down. But it does soothe
Uh,
me. So right now I enjoy my wine, and that is my favorite
do
product.
it.
And don't be ashamed.
Yes.
Judge me, I
Yes.
don't care.
So good.
But
Yeah. I love it.
and then for my kids' favorite product, hmm. Um, I mean it changes. For my daughter, still probably the Ergo.
Yes.
Love that darn, or any just baby wearing, like be
Yeah.
able to carry her because I do have to be so busy doing other things. I do still have to
Yeah.
hold her as much as possible. I know they say don't hold your baby because then they're gonna get used to being held, and it's like that's
I hear
okay.
different things on every,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I
my
hear
child
both
can be
sides.
used to being held because I want her to know how freaking loved she is. So
Yes.
I hold my babies all the time. And then my son, I don't know. Honestly, they don't require much.
That's awesome.
They don't require much. Kids don't, babies don't. You really
Yeah.
can, and I know this because when we had my son, we got by with like the bare minimum of
Yeah.
everything and like the cheapest of
Yeah.
everything. And it was like pins and needles even to buy anything. So they
Yeah.
don't require much.
No,
And
right.
no matter what you buy, it doesn't make you a better or a worse mom.
Yes. That's so
So,
good.
um, I don't know. I guess like is like lame as it sounds, like your own hands, just being there with them.
Yeah.
But my son has a tablet now, and that thing's kind of
Nice.
awesome now.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
yeah, that's pretty helpful sometimes because he's an
Uh,
introvert and he needs his quiet time.
okay, cool. And then next one would be a favorite holiday tradition with your family that you have.
Well, it's Christmas time right now, so I am all things Christmas. Christmas is the most
Yes.
wonderful time of the year.
It
Love it,
is.
and our home is like elf.
Oh.
We're so lame, but my son like is obsessed with Santa Claus.
Oh my
Um,
word. Oh yeah, you posted that video the other day of him like one of your friends walked in dressed as Santa or something.
oh yeah,
That was precious.
yeah. He's obsessed with Santa, and he still like looks in the backyard, like wait. And
Oh
I don't think that from that day we haven't got through a week where he hasn't asked about Santa Claus, like full year round. I
no.
swear, I'm not exaggerating. So now
Oh
that
my.
it's finally like Christmas time, we can finally
Yeah.
like go all out, and he actually gets to see Santa Claus.
That's
Um,
so cute.
so favorite holiday is definitely Christmas. Um, and we've only been a family for gonna be 4 years, but so we don't have many like traditions yet. But
Yeah.
one thing that we do is we have our like Christmas decorating kickoff.
Oh,
Or
cool.
Christmas kickoff, and we just decorate the house. That's when my husband puts the lights on the house, and I make hot
Oh,
cocoa, and we listen to Christmas music, and it is just fun. It's kind of
that's so
stressful though
fun.
because
Yeah.
ornaments and babies is not easy,
Oh
but
no.
it's fun, and that's it. That's one thing that we do, and then I love
That's awesome.
birthdays.
Oh,
Decorate the
yes.
house for birthdays. And
Oh.
we don't do anything extravagant, but um, I make like your favorite meal. So last year
Yes.
my son had mac and cheese
Yes.
because that's his favorite. Uh,
So cute.
and it's just the only day that's yours. So
Yeah.
birthdays and Christmas.
Cool. And then a piece of advice you'd give to a young mom.
Grace. Accept it and know that you're deserving of it.
Mm.
Know that, like I said, that there's seasons. And rid yourself of expectations and not the expectations that you put on yourself, but
Yeah.
the expectations that you put on yourself because of other people. So Pinterest moms, don't be it if it stresses you out and it takes away from the meaning of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Grace, you're doing the best that
Yeah.
you can, and nobody loves that baby more than you. Nobody
Mm.
knows best for that baby more than you. It's wonderful to be in a place to be able to accept advice and
Yeah.
everything, but let's face it, advice comes from all areas
Yeah.
and it's not always wanted. And a lot of the times it does more damage than good. Yeah, grace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because again, like I said, I've only been a mom for a little over 3 years, but in these 3 years, I would have never imagined all the change that has happened.
That's
And if
so good.
you just yeah, if you don't, you'll never know it all. But a month from now, you'll know more than you knew.
Mm.
You're
Yeah.
always growing, and as is your baby, you're learning one another. It's a huge change, and
Yeah.
you will figure it out. But it doesn't happen overnight. I'm still figuring it out,
Mm.
and I will always be. And I pray to God I always am.
Oh, good words. Thank
So,
you. Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is so good. And yeah, as always, I'm excited to share this. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. This is, I think that again, I think it's so cool that you're doing this. I knew no moms when I was becoming a mom. So I told, like, I listened to podcasts, and this was the way that
Yeah.
I felt less crazy, was just listening to women
Yeah.
that lived in Michigan and whatever, that,
Yeah.
okay, that is normal. Yeah, it is. It's a crazy journey. It's not smooth. It's not glamorous. It's not
Yeah.
pretty. It's not cookie cut. Um, and things like this shed light on that. And that's what I love.
Mm.
So,
Oh, good. Yeah, that's my hope and prayer for this for sure. So thank you. Awesome. Okay, and we can find you on social media, right?
yeah, you can.
We'll add the links to our show notes.
Yeah, you'll find nothing but like my babies, but
Love it. Yeah. Oh, people, go check out her Instagram because you guys are so beautiful. Like, your family is so beautiful. I love seeing all your pictures. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. I love reading your posts on Facebook too, because you're always so like raw and like, okay, here's where I'm at right now. So take it or leave it. And I love that.
thank you.
So yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Of course. He's happy to do this.
Come give me a kiss. I know you won't want this forever. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode with Tessa. I hope you enjoyed our chat. Be sure to check her out on Instagram and Facebook. She really is such a sweet person. I know she would love to connect, and she's got some great things to say. You can find all of those links in the show notes if you'd like to go check her out. And we'll also be posting about her on the Instagram, the Mommispace Instagram and Facebook. So you can find her there as well. If you have enjoyed this show to any extent, I would love to hear from you via review on iTunes. This is the #1 way we can get the podcast out to more moms just like you. And it also helps our ratings, so that way people can see us in iTunes. I've heard from so many of you that you're so excited about this kind of podcast for moms. There's not a ton of them out there. So I really would love to get the word out to more people. It also helps me get guests on the show. So if there are people that you want to hear from, different moms that you look up to, you can also email me about that, and I can do all the legwork on reaching out to them. You can email us at mommispace@gmail.com, or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. I'll probably be more active on Instagram, and that's also at Mommispace. Links in the show notes as always. But yeah, be sure to subscribe to this show so you can get each week's download automatically to your phone or computer, wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you don't have to worry about going back and downloading each new episode. I so appreciate you guys. Seriously, I love this little community that's been building, and just look forward to what's to come. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. You guys are amazing. Remember, you are enough, you are loved, and you're doing your very best. See you next week, Mama.